The schoolgirl in front of me was just about to leave the classroom. Suddenly, she found a magical pair of glasses in her utility cabinet. This instantly sparked her curiosity. After confirming that no one else was around, she carefully took out the glasses. Silu decided to support her as a machine companion, but after taking it home and putting it on, she unexpectedly saw a red line appearing on the top of the hat. At this moment, the ex-policeman Jujio returned, and on her head, there are countless missing pieces. At this moment, the schoolgirl left home feeling jealous. To find out what these red strings really are, she put on these glasses and went to the crowded street. By watching the couples passing by, she finally understood. If the red lines on two people's heads are connected, it means they have had sexual relations. And the number of red lines indicates the number of sexual partners someone has had. But ordinary people cannot see these red lines. Only by wearing these magical glasses can one see it. And when she came home to look at her old police badge, she saw countless secret red threads belonging to her mother above her head. The schoolgirl immediately let out a scream. She hurriedly hid inside the house with a look of uncertainty. The old wine left behind in the dream standing still, not knowing what went wrong. The next day arrived. Old wine, as usual, prepared to drive her to school. Just as the foreign female student hesitated about whether to get in the car, I saw once more the red thread tangled atop the old wine bottle. Unexpectedly, the old liquor, always so righteous and spirited, was involved with so many people. The girl suddenly felt nauseous and refused to get in the car. Watching her retreating figure, old Jew wondered if this duckhead had taken the wrong medicine today. And after getting glasses, Xiaomei started eating more. She became confident and affectionate, because when walking on the street, she could uncover everyone's secrets. However, what surprised her was that the homeroom teacher surprisingly had no red string. Apparently, the youthful homeroom teacher had never been in a relationship. Then, as Xiaomei was walking down the stairs, she saw 4 senior girls from her all-girls school. Each of them had on their head several red strings connected to them. Xiaomei Zhenzuang just felt that some people seemed really dirty to investigate whose girls' school it was, who had been involved. So driven by curiosity, she followed the direction of the red thread. Unexpectedly, she ended up arriving at the teacher's office. Next, a scene involving her 3 challenges unfolded. She had sexual relations with someone from the girls' school. It turns out to be the Chinese teacher. I can only say the information spread too fast. The Chinese teacher, who seems respectable on the surface, though distanced, still managed to get the help of 2 people. Recalling the past, every day at the girls' school, they would bully her in a way that violates the rules. It turns out the teacher standing up for her invited her, and they beat her up badly yesterday. This place holds power over the girls' school. She who holds the leverage is also completely fearless. From Monday to Friday during break time, the girls' school came to bother her again. But this time, Xiaomei definitely put on her glasses. Without hesitation, she immediately grabbed the hand of the girl from the school bar and warned her not to provoke her again in the future. But unexpectedly, Yagin from the school bar didn't buy it. Immediately after, she kicked her away by 10 meters, and the girl from the school bar will pay a heavy price for that kick. At night, Xiaomei quietly followed behind the girls' school. Guo unexpectedly found her with a Chinese teacher, screaming in front of the hotel. Xiaomei immediately took out her phone. She managed to capture their gentle appearance. Finally caught in the act of drawing, what Xiaomei aims to do is to completely clarify the girls' school affairs. When involved with the girls' school, they received threatening photos from Xiaomei, but what she didn't expect was that the girls' school didn't care at all. After the Chinese teacher came out of the shower, still engaged in a sweet interaction with the other party, it turns out the girls' school is for minors. Even if exposed, they will not face any punishment. So the one to worry about is not her at all, but the Chinese teacher, who has inappropriate relations with the student. A couple of days later, Xiaomei planned to take revenge in a different way. So the next day, she directly sent the photo to the Chinese teacher. Then she blackmailed her for 20 million as hush money. Otherwise, she would make the photo public. This move indeed worked on Xiao. The Chinese teacher instantly panicked after seeing the photo. He immediately called the female student to the office. Then, under the pretext of scolding her, he took her out and tore it up. This indicated that their relationship had been discovered. The female student said that the person threatening her was Xiaomei. At the same time, she also felt extremely troubled. The relationship between her and the teacher was clearly very secretive. So how did Xiaomei find out? On the other side, after getting a taste of the benefits, Xiaomei became increasingly wild. Using the power of the red string, she threatened multiple teachers who had affairs at the school. For a while, the teachers were all perplexed. From then on, Xiaomei, who had mastered everyone's secrets, reached the peak of her life. She not only became a prominent figure in the school, but also gained the trust of Xiao Cao. This scene instantly revitalized the girls' school, bringing great new energy. I really can't figure out how she managed to do it. But Xiaomei didn't notice a new girl with short hair. Zheng Xiao was observing her. When she arrived at the restroom, the short-haired girl looked at the eyes nearby and immediately realized everything. So the Federation asked her where her eyes were from. But Xiaomei lied that she had recently gotten them fitted herself. Seeing she wasn't telling the truth, the short-haired girl suddenly grabbed the eyes. The short-haired girl said the international glasses are broken. Just as Xiaomei wanted to keep hiding everything, then in the next moment, the short-haired girl revealed the secret of the red string. The short-haired girl nodded. Then, in Xiaomei's shocked gaze, she calmly spoke of the teacher and the number of red strings above Xiaodamei and the other students' heads. And even the PE teacher and music teacher knew about the extramarital affair. It turns out that short-haired girl has quite an important background because she doesn't need to wear glasses. With her naked eyes, she can see the red thread clearly. Short-haired girl's name is Xuanqi. From birth, she could see a red string above everyone's head. At first, she didn't understand the meaning of the red string. Later, she drew the red strings she saw. Unexpectedly, her mother broke down instantly after seeing them, because her husband was actually connected to another woman. The atmosphere was tense as she died together with her husband. It also shattered the illusion of a perfect family. In the end, the orphan was enveloped by the silence after losing both parents. After losing her parents, she felt that she alone was responsible for the tragedy. So she lived every day in guilt. Overwhelmed by pressure, she once thought about ending it all. But even after all her wounds healed, she still couldn't die. Each time, she possessed the miraculous ability to be reborn. It wasn't until she grew up that she discovered the secret of the red thread. But what she saw were others' most deeply hidden secrets. Fortunately, she started bringing strangers in to block the hidden red thread. She locked herself indoors all day without going out. She just felt that she was facing a major obstacle. She was determined to find out who else besides herself could see the red thread. But every morning, she still checked the time on foreign media. Xiaomei, who goes to school every day, has a red line above her head. As an experienced police officer, she has dozens of red lines. Today, a new female spirit moved in across the street. She has 9 red lines above her head. After seeing the commotion, she greeted. Under the noisy bustle, the window was closed. Now she only wants to isolate herself from the outside world. However, before long, the doorbell rang. The noise was heard through the door. The person inside was the female spirit who greeted earlier and enthusiastically brought her some fruit. But even so, Xuanqi still refused to open the door. The female spirit had no choice but to introduce herself outside the door. Seeing that after talking for a long time, she still couldn't get any response. She had to leave the fruit outside and depart. With a helpless sigh, she waited until there was no sound outside. Only then did she cautiously open the door. She brought the fruit from outside inside. Inside were 3 peaches. The taste of the peaches also softened her heart, which had been cold and harsh for many years. The next day, the female spirit residents sent her some fruit again. This time, it was several big apples. Xuanqi ate the apples and watched TV as usual. At this time, the news was reporting a serial murder case. The victims were mostly young women, but the killer remains at large. Furthermore, all the death sites are near Xuanxi. At this moment, Xuanxi noticed in the live stream a man with a single red string being teased first. Although seeing hundreds of red strings is not uncommon, she had never seen one with only a single red string before. Ninue's silent speculation. This person is a prime suspect in the murder case. It is very likely that they returned to the crime scene to observe. At this moment, downstairs suddenly heard the roar of a motorcycle. Whisper opened the window and looked out. This is the man who was the main culprit in the news. She directly headed towards the woman's residence. Realizing that the woman's residence was likely very dangerous, she immediately picked up the phone to call the police. But the main culprit had already entered the woman's residence. Xuanqi immediately informed the police of the situation. But what happened next was something she didn't expect. The headless man Jin and the female spirit Ju had a romantic relationship. With a sudden break in the cold spiritual energy chain, the lines above their heads also began to connect. It turned out to be just a false alarm. But the next day, the police informed that someone had reported an incident last night. A resident nearby called out to the officer, saying that the person who reported the incident, so I immediately went to her door and knocked. I asked if there were any leads from last night's police report, but the noises inside the house did not respond to her. Seeing that the other party obviously could not open the door, it was a spirit wearing glasses who came down. Indicates that the noisy person who avoids contact won't open the door. Because she is famously a homebody, she even relies on others to take out the trash. Despite this, she did not give up calling the police. After identifying herself as a police officer, only then did Xuanxi cautiously open the door a crack, then explained that he had mistaken it yesterday. As soon as the words fell, he closed the door. However, by nightfall, the clueless man unexpectedly appeared again. And this time, we have come to the building where Xuanxi is located. It seems that she is living here. Xuanxi came to Cat's Eye to observe, but the noisy man also seems to have noticed her. Meanwhile, the police station here has a new lead. They discovered that several victims shared the same ex-boyfriend. The woman was exactly the one the officer met during the day. That seemingly helpful man with glasses realized that she might be the murderer, and immediately went to her house to investigate. But strangely, the door was not locked. Then she cautiously walked inside. She then saw the room was covered in blood. She immediately called the police officer. Unbeknownst to her, the man with glasses was hiding right behind her. Suddenly, someone appeared and knocked her out with a stick. Hearing about the emergency situation on the colleague's side, calling the police also caused a chaotic rush over there. Here, the colleague was tied up by the man with glasses. Then she slowly put on the helmet, then prepared to head to the building across the street. Hearing the noisy breathing from the fight here, immediately looked downstairs. She noticed the red line on the helmet man's head had changed into a shape, and still needs to go find the female neighbor. Realizing the ominous breathing, immediately wanted to call the police. But at the crucial moment, the phone suddenly ran out of power, so she had no choice but to take a knife to rescue the female neighbor. But as soon as the door opened, she stopped, because she hadn't left the house for over 10 years. After gathering her courage, she finally stuck out her foot. However, since she hadn't faced an outsider attack for a long time, she walked unsteadily with each step, Feeling dizzy and disoriented, as if the sky and earth were spinning, unable to hold on, she collapsed directly to the ground. Meanwhile, the man with glasses had already arrived at the female neighbor's house, slowly taking off the red helmet, then saw the heavy red thread above his girlfriend's head. Immediately, the bespectacled man was about to strangle the other person. The bespectacled girlfriend's life was about to hang by a thread. Fortunately, at this moment, a sense of suspense stopped her here. Seeing that she was holding a knife, the man with glasses calmly and slowly approached her. Then he swiftly dodged the threatening knife. Then he stabbed without hesitation. After dealing with this trouble, the bespectacled man approaches his girlfriend again, preparing to strangle her. The woman takes the opportunity to remove her glasses. While the bespectacled man is still searching for his glasses, she hurriedly climbs towards the cliff, trying to pull her away with him. At this moment, the man with glasses had already put his glasses back on. He grabbed the woman and pulled her back immediately. At the same time, Officer Han had already arrived downstairs. Immediately afterward, he was about to go look for his colleagues, but as soon as he went upstairs, he noticed that the door of the mystery house was ajar. So she slowly walked over. She happened to notice the red line drawn on the mystery wall. However, before she could think much, she heard a quarrel from the opposite building. Officer Han immediately wanted to open the window to check. Suspense here finally woke up. Unaware of her strength, she slowly struggled to get up, preparing to block the glasses-wearing man who was about to kill. Then a knife stabbed into her leg. At the same time, Officer Han also drew his pistol, aiming at the glasses-wearing man opposite. With a sound of collision, the man with glasses also fell to the ground accordingly. Earlier, she saw the red thread above her head fading away. The corner of her mouth involuntarily showed a faint look of relief. And this scene was also keenly noticed by Xuanqi. Recalling everything that just happened, suddenly realized the man with glasses, probably like her, can see those mysterious red lines. The key lies in the seemingly ordinary glasses she wears. At the same time, after experiencing this incident, Xuanqi realized that being able to see the red thread wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Perhaps she could even use it to save others. So she slowly took off the mahjong. Just when she didn't know where to go next, she suddenly received a mysterious text message. There is a sentence written above. I can also see the time you saw. Please come to Arc High School to attend classes. On the second day, the Xuanqi stronghold rises. She took the original straight board from the closed window, take everything down. Then, with short hair, she arrived at Arc High School to begin a new life. But it wasn't long before she discovered something at school. Xiaomei, who could also see the red thread. Later, while taking a restroom break, the Federation warned Xiaomei that her eyes were in danger. But Xiaomei didn't take it seriously and still wore the glasses. However, the two were still completely unaware. The female school bully hiding in the cubicle had already heard the plan. She immediately came up with a plan to steal the eyes. After school, I started following Xiaomei all the way. I noticed that the eye was placed in her bag, so I took the opportunity to steal the eye. The female school bully wearing the eye observed the passersby. Sure enough, she saw the mysterious red thread. Just as she was feeling proud of herself, an unexpected accident suddenly occurred. Here, when Xiaomei discovered that the eyes had disappeared, she immediately called Xuanqi, mistakenly thinking that Xuanqi had stolen the eyes, but now she has something even more important to do. That is to get the 20 million windfall from the Chinese teacher. After arriving at the location, the teacher tearfully and plaintively begged Xiaomei to forgive her. She expressed that she couldn't come up with that much money, but Xiaomei remained stubborn and refused to give up. At that moment, the teacher received a text message. It turned out that Lao Guo already knew about her relationship with the female school bully. She thought it was Xiaomei who made the breakup public. After all, only she knew about this matter. On the other side, Xuanqi was desperately running toward the teaching building. Unexpectedly, Xiaomei fell from the upper floor of the building. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Follow me. The upcoming story will be even more exciting.